Hi everyone, my name is Millie, and in these videos we're going to be looking at a little bit of English grammar. Hola a todo el mundo, yo me llamo Millie. Estos videos van a ser para aprender un poquito de gramática en inglés. So we need to speak in English. These videos are going to be in English. Okay, vamos a hablar en inglés. Hi everyone, today we're going to be looking at 4 words. The words are this, that, these, and those. So these words are demonstrative determiners. And what that means is that they're words that point out a person or a thing that someone is talking about. For example, this woman is my mother. You can see that this is pointing out woman. This woman is my mother. Also, who gave you that present? You can see that that is pointing out the word present. Which present? That present. The one you're holding in your hand. That present. Who's your mother? This woman that I'm hugging. And you can see that these sentences that I've color coded them, I've put one word in red and another in blue. And I want you just to notice one little thing about that, okay? So the determiner is the one that I've put in red. And then I've put the word that follows it in blue. That word is a noun, okay? It is a noun. So you have the determiner, this, followed by the noun woman. This woman is my mother. And then the other sentence, you have the determiner, that, followed by the noun present. Who gave you that present? And this is one of the ways that you can find these words in a sentence. Okay, you'll find the determiner, and then you'll see that it's followed with a noun. The reason I say this is because you can also find it by itself. For example, this is my mother. This woman is my mother, or this is my mother. Who gave you that present? Or who gave you that? Who gave you that? Now let's take a look a little closer at this and that. One of the most important things about using this and that is that you're going to use them when you're talking about one thing. Okay, just one thing. One woman, one dog, one wallet, one picture, just one. This apple. This apple. You can see that there's one apple, so we use this. I also want you to notice how that person is holding the apple. Okay, it is very, very close to that person. The person can touch what it is that they're talking about. So they're going to use this apple, this book, this book. Again, very close to the person. The person has it in their hand. So they say this book, this coffee, this coffee. It's just one coffee. And again, the person has it in their hand. They are touching the cup of coffee, this coffee. That dog, that dog. First thing that we need to notice is that there's just one dog. And the second thing I want you to notice is notice that this person is not touching the dog. The dog is away from the person. That dog. That apple. Again, just one. And again, it's not being held by the person talking. It's not this apple, it's that apple. If the person was holding the apple, or if it was very close to the person, so close that the person could touch it, then they could use this apple. That bike. That bike. Now let's take a look at these and those. So for these and those, these are going to be used when there isn't one apple, when there's more. when there's more than one book, when there's more than one bike, when there's a few dogs. So you use it when it's more than one. These apples, these apples. These children, these children. These clothes, these clothes. And again, I just want to point out that these things that they're talking about, they're very close. Okay? The apples, they're close to this person. The person can actually touch them. The children, well, he's holding his children. And the clothes, these clothes are being held by these people, as opposed to those dogs. Those dogs. Again, more than one. There isn't one dog. In this picture, there are four. So there's more than one dog, which is why we use those. And the reason we don't use these dogs is probably because they're not that close, right? They're not that close, so close that you could touch them. If they were close enough to where you could touch them, you could use these dogs. Those apples. Those apples. Those bikes. Those bikes. So now we're going to be looking at a few more examples with these four words. Some of them we've seen before. For example, this woman is my mother. We saw that earlier. We're going to look at some that we've seen, and we're also going to look at some that we haven't. This woman is my mother. This woman is my mother. Do you want to try this coffee? Do you want to try this coffee? Do you want to try this coffee? Notice this. Notice that there's one and that the man is actually holding it. That was the tastiest pizza I ever had. 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 So I hope you're repeating with me, which is why I say them quickly, then I say them a little slower, and then I pick up the pace so you can hopefully repeat it quicker. It's really good to repeat. So in this last sentence that we've read, that was the tastiest pizza I ever had. Notice that, not this. So it's one pizza, and this woman, she's remembering that she had eaten it. So it's in past tense. She already did it, she had it, and it was the tastiest pizza she had ever had. If she was eating it in that moment, she could say, "This is the tastiest pizza I've ever had." Who gave you that present? Say it slower now, so those of you that want to can repeat. Who gave you that present? Who gave you that present? Again, that for one, and that because this is the man that's asking about the present. He's not holding it. These shirts come in medium or large. These shirts come in medium or large. You can see that there's more than one. We have 8 shirts here. And they are touching them. They are very close. These books are so interesting. These books are so interesting. These books are so interesting. Those children are very noisy. Those children are very noisy. Those, because there is more than one. In the picture, we can see two. And you see them in black and white, which kind of gives the feeling that they're not as close to you as to where you would use these children. What are those flowers called? 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 Now let's take a closer look as to when we use this and these. So these two words are going to be used when the object or objects, the thing or the things that we're talking about are very near to us. They're very close. Sometimes you're even touching them or you can touch them. And remember, this is used when there's one thing. One, it's singular. This pizza is tasty. This pizza is tasty. This, because there's one, and why else? Because she's touching it. She's touching it, she's eating it in the moment. This pizza is tasty. For these are going to be used when there's more than one, when there's 2, 3, 4, 100, 1,000. There's more than one thing. These books are heavy. These books are heavy. And she's holding the books, and you can see that there's more than one. Looks like she's holding 7 or 6 books. So they are heavy. These books are heavy. One more example of each. This book is interesting. This book is interesting. This, because there's one, and also because she's holding it, she's reading it, she's touching it. This book. These are my children. These are my children. These, because there's 2, and also because in that moment he's holding them. He has them near. They're close to him. They're close. Now let's look at when we use that and those. That and those is going to be used when the object or objects, things or thing are not that close. They're a little further. Okay? And usually it's far enough to where you can't touch it. Again, that is going to be used when there's one thing. That book is on the table. That book is on the table. And you have the hand pointing because it gives the feeling that the book is not so close as to where you can pick it up. That book is on the table. With those, it's going to be used when an object is further from you, further from you, and there's more than one. Those apples look ripe. Those apples look ripe. And you can see that there's 3 apples on the tree. 3, there's more than one. And then you have the barrel with many apples. Those apples look ripe. One more example of each. That child fell down. Poor thing. That child fell down. And you have the hand and it's pointing because it gives the feeling that the child is a little further away. Are those shirts on sale? Are those shirts on sale? And those, well, you have 3 shirts. If you had 1 shirt, you could say, if you had 1, is this shirt on sale if you were holding it? Or is that shirt on sale if you were not holding it? Now it's time to practice. Come and taste this or these chips. These. Now, this was just the example. This is what you're going to be asked to do if you want to practice. And for practicing, you can say it out loud if you're at home and if you don't want to write it down. If you want the practice of writing, you can take out a notebook, you can take out a whiteboard, anything that you write with at home, and you can practice writing. So this is the example. You're going to have a sentence, and then you're going to have two words, two of the words that we've learned in red, in parentheses. These are parentheses. You're going to have those two words, and you need to pick the correct one. How can you do this in an easy way? Look and see if the noun that follows it, is it singular, one, or is there more than one? So chips, crisps, right? There's more than one. You have chips. So you would pick these. Okay, I'm going to go through these with you. I'm going to read them for you, and then you can pause the video and give yourself some time, or we can just continue and you can do it out loud, however you like. This books are heavy, or these books are heavy. This, these. Pick the correct one. You pick the one you think is right, and you can write it down. You can just write down the word, or you can say it out loud. It's really up to you. Number 2, that children are loud, or those children are loud. Your book is on that table. Your book is on those table. That bed was so comfortable. Those bed was so comfortable. Just listen to it to see what sounds correct, what sounds right. And then, of course, look at what follows. Is it one thing? Is it more than one thing? Is it singular? Is it plural? That man was very kind and helpful. Those man was very kind and helpful. That dogs were barking all night. Those dogs were barking all night. This dinner has been lovely. These dinner has been lovely. There are many cool restaurants on this street. There are many cool restaurants on these street. So pause the video, give yourself some time, or let's continue with the answers. Time to go through these and check them, see if we've got them right. If we've got them wrong, it's okay. Don't worry, you will get them right with time and with practice. Just, good for you for learning another language. So let's get started. What I do advise you to do is to not erase the answer if you have it wrong. Because if you can see where you made your mistake, chances are you're not going to make the same mistake again. But if you erase it and you write the correct answer, but you don't leave the wrong answer, you'll forget. You'll forget. So I would write the correct answer, but I would leave the wrong answer just so I know where I made a mistake. But that's my advice. You can do whatever you'd like. It's always up to you. So let's get started. We'll read these and then we'll see the answer and give ourselves a little tick. So, number 1, blank books are heavy. These books are heavy. These books are heavy. Why? Because there's more than one. If you have that right, give yourself a little tick. If you don't, it's okay. Just circle what you got wrong and write the correct answer somewhere. Blank children are loud, and you have that or those. Those children are loud. So child is one, and children means that there are more than one. So it is plural, which is why we used those. Your book is on blank table. Give yourself a tick. Your book is on blank table. That table. Your book is on that table. And give yourself a tick. That bed was so comfortable. That bed was so comfortable. Give yourself a tick if you've got it right. That man was very kind and helpful. That man was very kind and helpful. The next one, dogs were barking all night. Those dogs were barking all night. Those dogs were barking all night because you have more than one. This dinner has been lovely. This dinner has been lovely. It's just one dinner. And the last one, there are many cool restaurants on blank street. So just look at the noun that follows it. How many streets? One. This street. There are many cool restaurants on this street. Give yourself a tick. All right, guys, so that's it for today. You have done a great job. Well done. You did it. And I will see you here next time. Bye.